Good morning and welcome to SimWorld today, July 23rd, Wednesday edition. No Sniper J on with us this morning, but we are going to continue to march around with our top three contenders for each conference. Do not worry. We are going to revisit the Big 12 next week with Sniper, get his top three teams, and he's the yin to my yang on this thing. So we'll figure out what he thinks of the picks that we're going to give to you today of the Big 12 and get his takes on it next week. But our campaign marches forward. Big 12, interesting conference from a year ago. Very, very top heavy. Kansas and Texas, despite that, Dayton had a really good and surprising conference season. I don't think anybody ever felt like they threatened in the Big 12. Kansas State and Texas Tech were good, as was Oklahoma. Were good in the Big 12, but not threatening. It was very much a top two heavy team. Kansas, Texas obviously made it in the conference championship game. Four teams in this entire conference finished the year above 500 last year. That's not uncommon. You look at like the Big East had four teams with 20 plus wins, only two, right, in the Big 12. So there was the who's and the who nots, and Kansas and Texas were the who's of last season. Let's go to this season though. Top three teams for this coming season. Let's start at number three, and that's going to be for me is going to be Texas Tech. I really like what they did this offseason in adding Cyrus Jackson. I like the freshman that they brought in. Cyrus Jackson, I think, is a good scorer. DJ Amer, Jordan Belmont, all of that to add in next to Tyrell Thompson, who is starting to really look like a really nice defensive switchable 4/5, potentially at the next level. He had a really nice season. He's a physical big man, and if he can find a way to create a little bit more with the ball, I think this is a guy that could be a lottery lock after averaging 14 or 15 and 7.5 last season for the Red Raiders. This is going to be a team that's big though, right? If you look at who they're bringing back, there are some size mismatches, right? You can have Chris Carter, 5'6", played 22 minutes last season. Chris Mitchell, 5'11", played 26 minutes last season. Dominique Briscoe, 5'10", played 19 minutes per game last season. But what are they adding? DJ Amer, 6'7". I might be mispronouncing that. If I am, DJ, apologies. 6'7" forward. Jordan Belmont, listed on the by the Red Raiders as a guard, 6'6", 223. That's not a guard, that's a wing. And then Cyrus Jackson, also listed as a guard, 6'9", 214. Now, I'm not saying those three guys end up playing at the guard position, but you are adding size to this team. I would not be surprised if we saw all three of those guys in the starting lineup, next to Tyrell Thompson and next to Aiden Teasley. Teasley had a really nice season for them last year. Stretch 37% shooter from the outside. That's kind of where he slots in as a guy who can shoot the ball. Thompson can handle things inside, and then you just get size with Jackson, Belmont, and Amer. And then you can mismatch. Do we want Briscoe to step in? Do we want Chris Mitchell, who got big minutes but was pretty ineffective? Do we want Chris Carter, who also got big minutes but was ineffective? I think you're replacing those three guys, and I think you're upgrading with the three guys that we've talked about, these three freshmen that walk in the door, plus the fourth of Ashton Rideout. I really like the size that Texas Tech is bringing in, and this is a team that last season was very competitive, despite being 15 and 16 in the regular season, very competitive in the Big 12. And part of that side effect of being a top two conference team is that the teams kind of down below, it's a little bit harder to figure out who's good and who's not. But there's a lot of teams you can beat up on, right? TCU, Baylor, Iowa State, Oklahoma State all had really, really bad years last season, which enabled easy wins for Oklahoma, Texas Tech, Kansas State, Dayton, kept them close to it. I really like Texas Tech this season with what they're adding from the freshmen. My number two contender, and that's going to be Kansas. Nas Hall is great. Nas Hall is fantastic. This is the only conference, the Big 12, that has two top five guys in it. The other ones that we would expect to go, Justin Bell, that's Big East. D'Angelo Jordan, that's Big Ten. And then maybe Japhet Town sneaks in there with Missouri and in the SEC. So this is going to be a star-powered conference. And I really love that Nas Hall is the tip of the spear for Bill Self in Kansas. I like the addition of Shamar Davis. Good recruiting class with Dylan Weir, Mason Davis, Mason Brooks and Shamar Davis. I really love Jabbar Wilson as a stretch five. 6'11", 230, shot 40% from deep last year. I think there's a very real upside for Jabbar Wilson. he'll need to figure out defensively. But if you look at the next level, stretch five is super valuable in the SWBA, and Wilson can provide that. Jarvis Woodson, nice banging big man down low, shot 60% inside the paint, shot 80% from the free throw line, which you really like as you project him forward. But my question mark for this team is going to be, do they have another scorer? They lost Madison Miles III. That's a huge hole to have to fill for Kansas. I don't think it's an easy one that Kansas is going to be able to fill. That's what made them so dangerous, because you had this inside-outside combination threat. As great as Nas Hall is with the basketball, the one part of his game that you'd like to see him improve is his three-point shooting, just 35%. He needs to get that up about 2 to 3 percentage points to really become a dangerous three-level scorer. Right now, you love him getting inside the paint. You love him getting to the free throw line, which he did a lot of. 70 made free throws a season ago for Kansas. That was number one on the team. That was more than Madison Miles. So you love his ability to get into the paint, but you want to see something else. And I don't know who that other creator is for the Jayhawks. I think Nas Hall is an elevator. Why are they better than Texas Tech? Because of Nas Hall. But why are they not my number one team? Because I don't know what else we're going to get. If we get a big season from Shamar Davis, if we get improvements from one of these other guys that are on this team from a year ago, then okay, we're feeling a little bit better. But right now, I don't know. If you look across this roster, you try to point and find somebody for a progressive year. I don't see that with Kansas, which leads us to our number one team, and that's going to be the Texas Longhorns. Arthur Lattimore returns. Vincent Magic returns. Anthony Young returns. Lionel Burgos returns. That alone gives you confidence, right? Those four guys, plus you can throw in Chris Yardley, who got big minutes. You're bringing back a lot of pieces from a year ago. Now, are there some question marks? This is a very young team. You've got four freshmen coming into this and a transfer in of Elijah Knight. That doesn't typically lend yourself to too much positive. But I think Matthew Mozgov and I think Monteus Morboskus. I mean, geez, we got tough names over here today. Great freshman additions on this roster, along with Trey Harper and Augustine Lamar. I think there's a lot of guys that are going to be able to create. And look, you need to, because you have coming back to this team, you've got 7 guys that got minutes last season. 2 of them, Junior Espinoza and Nakoa Mead, averaged just 2 minutes a game. So you have essentially 4 to 5 men worth of rotation spots left to fill. That's the big question mark. But the positivity is Lattimore is a proven piece. 18 points per game, 8 boards. He's a guy that you talk to SWBA scouts and say he might be he's got a case to be the first guy off the board. He's not falling outside of the top 4. Maybe he goes to 5 if somebody falls in love with Japheth Towns or somebody else really elevates their game. Maybe it's the least Darius Outlaw. But Arthur Lattimore, an elite player at the collegiate level, big part of why Texas had a great season. Vincent Magic, really nice downhill scorer. Didn't shoot the ball well from deep last season. Didn't shoot the ball well from the free throw line. Those are the question marks. But capable with the ball in his hands, 4 assists per game for the Texas Longhorns. He's their table setter. He's the guy that gets them into sets. Now, you're losing a couple pieces, right, from last year. DeMonte Claudio, nice score for them, their third leading scorer a year ago. But I think expanded opportunity for Anthony Young, who averaged 2 assists per game, who shot 46% from deep. Expanded opportunity for Lionel Burgos, 50% free throw or 3-point shooter on nearly 100 attempts. I mean, this is not low volume between those two guys. So you've got a pair of guys who can really shoot the ball well, surrounded by Vincent Magic, who's a table setter, and Arthur Lattimore, who can bang inside. If that's my baseline starting point for the Texas Longhorns, that's better than any other team right now in the Big 12. That's better than what Kansas is bringing to the table. That's better than what Oklahoma is bringing to the table. It's better than Texas Tech. It's better than any other team as a starting point. And that's before we get into more Morboskus and Mozgov, who I think can be impact players as freshmen. Harper, who I also think can probably step in. I don't know that you're going to get huge things out of Chris Yardley, out of Junior Espinoza, out of Nakoa Mead. I don't think that you need to, because I think this is a team that you need to find 8 to 9 guys. I think Texas has the 8 to 9 guys on this roster. So my Big 12 contenders, again, recap it. Number 3, I've got Texas Tech. Number two, I've got Kansas. Number one, I've got the Texas Longhorns as the top contender in the Big 12 coming up this coming season in SimWorld U. We're back tomorrow morning right here on SimWorld TV, on SimWorld Today. Appreciate you tuning in. Next week, we're going to get Sniper Jay's picks for the Big 12. We'll see if he agrees, disagrees, if he's got other ideas. We sometimes are just lockstep, and sometimes we are completely different. That's been the case here through the first two conferences, the ACC and the American Conference. So we'll see if we diverge our pathways coming up when he rejoins us next week. But we're back tomorrow morning here on SimWorld TV. Only place you can see the game, be the game.